Hello, Sassinari. Thank you for joining me today. So, last week I was forced to take a break from the podcast because of my health. It was supposed to be a solo episode where I wanted to talk about my life after marriage. Maybe I'll do it next month. But one thing that definitely comes with marriage is added responsibilities. So शादी के बाद both the partners are not only responsible for themselves but also for each other and even for each other's families to different extents, right? And if you add parenthood to the equation, things get trickier. पर इन सब चीज़ों में अपना टाइम डिवाइड करते करते हम खुद को भूलने लगते हैं और जब ब्रेन में इतना क्लटर हो जाए तो इट्स ईजी टू फॉलो वॉट यू सी अराउंड यू बिकॉज यू हैव नो मेंटल स्पेस टू थिंक फॉर योर सेल्फ. फिर आता है फियर ऑफ जजमेंट, नीड फॉर वैलिडेशन और ना चाहते हुए भी वी स्टार्ट फीलिंग स्टक. वी माइट इवन गेट नम टुवर्ड्स आवर डेली लाइव्स. We want to take action to do something different but feel the lack of time and energy. But do you know it's possible to bring back that feeling of joy in life? It's possible to get unstuck and have time to think clearly. And Shikha Pandey is here to guide us today. As a mindfulness mindset coach, Shikha enables professionals seeking work-life balance to create their unique balanced life by living mindfully. She enables them to build in daily awareness which reflects in the choice of micro habits that compound over time to build mental toughness and resilience. So let's dissect stuckness, mental clutter, and come out with a clearer head at the end of this episode. Oh, and at the beginning of recording this episode with Shikha, I forgot to connect my mic properly. So for the first few minutes, my voice might be a bit low, but the good thing is that Shikha's voice is perfect throughout, so you're going to enjoy this episode completely. Don't forget to follow Little Fixes and share it with your friends. Hey Sassinari, welcome to Little Fixes. This is Matri, a social media professional, a wife, and a mother. Marriage is one of the biggest steps we take. And on this podcast, we discuss finding ourselves after happily ever after. थोड़े ideas, थोड़े rants और बहुत सारा food for thought. Join me and my guests because we get you. And now to our guest. Hi Shikha, welcome to Little Fixes.
Hi, how are you? And thank you so much for having me here. I love the name of your podcast, first of all, and it's super catchy. And I'm so glad I could be here. I've seen your previous episodes, and it is just so relevant to all the things that we are trying to create awareness about. So super excited and glad to be here.
ये थैंक यू सो मच शिखा. तो हम लोग बातें करने वाले हैं अपने ब्रेन को डिक्लटर करने के बारे में. और आई थिंक वी ऑल नीड टू डू इट बिकॉज अ लॉट हैज़ बिन गोइंग ऑन और हम सभी परेशान हैं. पर हमारे ब्रेन में ना जो ये सब है कचरा भरा हुआ है उसकी वजह से ना हमें सोचने का टाइम ही नहीं मिलता है. इफ़ यू वांट टू वर्क ऑन समथिंग न्यू या फिर ऐसे ही अपनी लाइफ में इफ़ यू वांट टू रिलैक्स ऑल्सो अ लिटिल तो हम वो भी नहीं कर पाते हैं, राइट? और हम चीज़ें इंजॉय नहीं कर पाते हैं. लगता है कि भाग रहे हैं बट वी फील स्टक. सो
Absolutely.
व्हाट इज ऑल दिस? मतलब इसका क्या मतलब है? और आई अंडरस्टैंड द फीलिंग बट आई एम श्योर इट कैन बी डिफरेंट फॉर डिफरेंट पीपल. तो आई वुड लाइक टू अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम यू कि what does feeling stuck mean and what does it feel like?
Very relevant question. And it's interesting because हमें लगता है कि ये बड़ी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चीज़ है. हमारी लाइफ में इतनी ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेशन है, इतनी ज़्यादा चीज़ें हैं करने के लिए कि हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, वक्त नहीं है, एंड कहाँ से निकालें, राइट? सो बेसिक चीज़ें ही कर लें अपने दिन की तो बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाती है. यहाँ तो you see all these coaches and everyone coming on Instagram and telling you to do so many other things, and everybody is just simply telling you कि भाई ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, ये नहीं करो तुम सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो. और ये अननेसेसरी प्रेशर बिल्ड करता है. सो इफ़ यू रियली टॉक अबाउट फीलिंग स्टक, ये फीलिंग किस तरह हम महसूस करते हैं, सो वी फील इट इन आवर माइंड in the way we tend to operate, but we also feel it in our body. So I'll talk about both the things, okay? So in the mind, typically it feels like, you feel there is no purpose. Like you feel that your life is on an autopilot. कि हर कोई आपको ये बता रहा है कि आप लाइफ में क्या गलत कर रहे हो. हर कोई आपसे बेटर कर रहा है, हर कोई आपसे अच्छा कर रहा है, और आपके पास क्लैरिटी, आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि मेरी लाइफ जो है ऑटो पायलट में है. मैं सुबह उठता या उठती हूँ, फिर मेरा स्पाउस मुझे कुछ करने को बोल देते हैं, फिर मैं वो करती हूँ, फिर मैं बच्चों के पीछे भागते हैं और फिर उसके बाद फिर हम ऑफ़िस जाते हैं, फिर ऑफ़िस में कोई हमको कुछ और करने को बोलता है तो हम वो कर रहे होते हैं और हमारे पास कोई कंट्रोल है ही नहीं। सो द लैक ऑफ कंट्रोल इज़ वन ऑफ द मेन वेज़ इन व्हिच वी रियली फील दैट वी आर स्टक, because we feel there is nothing that I can do, and that's a very helpless feeling. Another thing is procrastination. Okay, you feel like, what is the point of doing this,
Mhm.
or you feel that I have to be perfect, but I don't know how to be perfect, and so I might as well not do it. You lose the sense of time when you feel stuck.
Mhm.
You feel there can be two scenarios in this. One, you feel that your time is going very fast. It's just passing by. Days are just passing by, and you don't know where the days are going. And second is that you feel that time is just not passing by, and you're just not able to do anything, and you're in just zone forever and ever, and how, when is my life going to change? Now the thing about feeling stuck is that we all feel this every now and then. There are days when you feel that everything is taking over and you have no control. That is
Mhm.
not feeling stuck. That's a very temporary kind of feeling, which is okay to feel as people. But if you
Mhm.
feel it for a very prolonged period of time, at least, when it kind of, then is when you know that you're feeling stuck. You're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling joy, even if you do something which is very different, and might be very challenging for someone else to do as a part of your daily routine. You feel that, क्या क्या किया मैंने कोई तीर नहीं मार लिया. So that feeling, lack of fulfillment, is another place where you really tend to feel stuck. In your body, you feel lethargy, you feel lack of energy, you feel that you're just dragging yourself through the day, and when it actually comes to sleeping, you don't get sleep, which
Mhm.
means that you're caught in that loop of scrolling and things like that. And you get up tired, you sleep. When you're sleeping, you're feeling very tired, you want to go to bed, but when you reach bed, you can't sleep. These are all signs of the fact that you're stuck in life, and there's something that needs to kind of move forward or change for you, definitely.
Mhm. तो शिखा, आपने ये जो सारी चीज़ें डिस्क्राइब की, क्या
Hmm.
यही एनहेडोनिया है? ये टर्म मैंने थोड़े दिन पहले सुना था कि
Hmm.
इट इज़ अ लैक ऑफ जॉय, पर
Hmm.
आई थिंक जो जो सारी चीज़ें बताई, क्या ये इसमें इंक्लूडेड होती हैं?
Yes, lack of joy for sure, but what is joy? And whenever someone says that, I'm not feeling joy, my question always is, what do you mean by joy? What does joy mean to you? Because a lot of us don't know what joy is. We tend to associate it with happiness.
Mhm.
Happiness is an emotion. You will feel it sometimes and you will not feel it other times. Doesn't mean that you're not doing well in your life. It's really is as simple as that. Joy is a constant state. Joy is a state of being, while happiness is an emotion. I'll tell you a little bit of difference between the two. For example, even when you're moving through the most tough stage in your life, a big challenge, if you have hope at the back of your mind, and if you have the trust in yourself that you can move through this, that is joy manifesting itself as hope.
Mhm.
That optimism, that positivity in your mind, that you can pass through this, and you understand it's like it's a thing in transition, is joy. Joy is hope. Joy is belief. Joy is faith. Happiness, on the other hand, is an emotion. So you feel happy. I might feel very happy today, but next moment something happens. I am also allowed to feel sad. Doesn't mean that suddenly my life is not good, right? So
Mhm.
that association, that lack of difference between happiness and joy is the most important thing to figure out, because we all want joy, but we are not always going to be happy, and that is okay. That doesn't mean joy doesn't exist.
Uh-huh. Okay, now this is new for me. Joy and happiness.
Yeah.
तो सी जॉय जो मेरे लिए होता है ना, जैसे मुझे लगता है कि जॉय छोटी-छोटी चीज़ों से आता है लाइफ में कई बार।
Mm,
आई हैव
mm,
नॉट लुक्ड एट बिग थिंग्स, जैसे वी फील जॉय व्हेन वी आर प्लेइंग विद आवर किड्स, और
yeah.
मे बी व्हेन वी आर लिसनिंग टू आवर फेवरेट म्यूजिक।
Mm,
बट
mm,
मेरे साथ ऐसा भी हुआ है कि इन सब चीज़ों में जो मुझे करने में अच्छी लगती थी, आई स्टॉप्ड फीलिंग दैट जॉय।
mm,
वो
mm,
चीज़ नहीं आने लगी कि इफ आई एम प्लेइंग विद माय डॉटर, आई एम थिंकिंग अबाउट समथिंग एल्स। मे बी
mm,
आई एम चेकिंग माय फ़ोन ऑल्सो, या फिर मैं
mm,
अगर म्यूज़िक सुन रही हूँ, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि क्यों सुन रही हूँ? मैं अपना टाइम क्यों बर्बाद कर रही हूँ म्यूज़िक सुन के?
mm,
साथ में कुछ
yeah.
काम भी कर लेती हूँ, जैसे
Mm,
लैपटॉप पे वर्क कर रहे हैं, चलो उसी वक़्त म्यूज़िक सुन लिया, या फिर
mm,
घर का कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, चलो कोई पॉडकास्ट सुन लिया। तो इस
mm,
तरीके की चीज़ें हम करते रहते हैं, जो हम एन्जॉय करते थे। वो वाली फीलिंग नहीं आती है, और अगर करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो वी फील कि टाइम वेस्ट हो रहा है।
mm.
व्हाट इज़ दिस?
So this is your classic case of FOMO,
हुँ,
and The fear of missing out, wanting to be at different places at the same time, which is physically not possible. Unless it's a movie, it doesn't really happen, right? So we are where we are. We cannot be anywhere else. And that's as simple as that. Now, feel personally that about 70 to 80% of problems that we are facing in the modern world is because of FOMO, because there is so much to do, and we say so much to do, so little time. But if we just are able to choose the things that we want to do and give it the time that we have, wherein we understand that our energy and our time are two resources which are super precious. Out of that, time is non-renewable. That's the only non-renewable resource we have in our lives, right? Energy can be renewed if you kind of take rest and things like that and take care of yourself. uh, doesn't it then make sense that we are very, very careful about where are we choosing to spend this time, because we cannot do everything,
Mhm.
right? Also, the very essence of joy is presence. You cannot feel joy if you're not present. When you're doing two things at the same time, you're not present for either. And then where is the joy going to be, really? For example, we could be doing this podcast and I could be talking to you, but in my head, if I'm thinking about, oh my God, I have like 10 sessions lined up after this for the next 2 days, and how am I going to do and what am I going to do? I'm not prepared for it. The joy of doing this totally goes away from me. And then I start feeling that what is the point of doing this, right?
Mhm.
And that would not make sense. The fact is, when you're playing with your child, you can just play with your child. You cannot be doing work, because that's not how it works. When you're doing your work, if you're giving your 100%, and when you get out of your chair and you say, I've given my 100%, there's nothing more that I could have given. When you played with your child, I played with my child for an hour to my heart's content, and that's fine. Now it's time to, get out of that mode and get into doing my work. And this is how joy keeps flowing, because you're so
Mhm.
present to what you're doing. And the presence is crucial, this foundational to joy. So that's really is the reason why we feel so discontent in our life and feel we are always running short of time, because we're trying to do too many things.
Mhm. और आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस अंडरस्टैंड दिस ऑल्सो बट
Hmm.
स्टिल हम कर नहीं पाते हैं
Hmm.
वाई
That is again because when we log into our social media, I mean, what we see is everybody's doing something and something different, and suddenly what are the options available. We didn't know years back that there could be something like a podcast that you could do. हमने ये सारा विविध भारती पे सुना था कि बहुत वो लोग सिलेक्ट करके कुछ लोगों को लेते हैं और वो पॉडकास्ट करते हैं. Now if I have a good voice and I have ideas and I know a little bit of technology and I think I want to share something, I want to do podcast as well. But I also want to do an Instagram, and I also want to do a Facebook, and I also want to do a LinkedIn, and I also want to have my own coaching and all of those things. It's not possible. Something will slip out on some days. And if, again, on top of that, if you have a child and you want to take care of the child and spend time, it's not going to happen. The reason this happens is because we are constantly driven by comparison. We are trying to be better than everybody else. Everybody else. If someone is doing something, oh, I also want to do it. I think I can do it. It feels like if we are not able to do something, we are a failure, which is so wrong. Because if you're not able to do something, it's an opportunity to try something new and maybe say that, oh, this is not for me. We never give that option to ourselves. What if I tried a podcast and I said, oh, it's not for me, and I left it? It's fine. It doesn't make me a failure. It just means that I'm aware of my choices and I'm making a choice for myself. So comparison is what is driving this FOMO day in and day out, and us wanting to be best at everything that we do. We don't give ourselves the scope to be better by just chasing perfection.
तो कल्प्रिट कौन है इस सिचुएशन में क्या सोशल मीडिया कल्प्रिट है ह्यूमंस कल्प्रिट हैं क्या है वी आर एज सोसाइटी वी ऑल आर
Yeah.
कल्प्रिट्स
I don't think there's any culprit. I just feel that I think the only thing that we can really change, and this is something that's really, really close to my heart, and it's changed my life when I started thinking of it this way, is the fact that हमारा mind हमारा दुश्मन नहीं है. माइंड सिर्फ अपना काम कर रहा है, राइट? माइंड का काम ये है कि उसके माइंड को थिंक करना है. सो इट्स थिंकिंग, देयर आर थॉट्स व्हिच आर कमिंग. व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? द प्रॉब्लम इज व्हेन वी start getting in the loop of those thoughts. The problem is that we are allowing everything that is outside of us to have the power on us and dictate our life. हमें लगता है we have forgotten that there is so much of power in each one of us, that we are really truly limitless. I mean, look at the people who've gone to the moon. Look at the people who have, put together an airplane, such a heavy machine flying in the air. These are all human beings. So there is potential in us. They are not different than us. There are so many like that. It's just that we have forgotten of our power. And we've forgotten that we can do it, that we are more powerful than our mind, and then we have the choice is ours. ये जो हमने चॉइस करना छोड़ दिया है ना, when we have allowed that जो भी हमारे बाहर है, जो भी अच्छा लग रहा है, वो हमारी लाइफ डिसाइड करेगा. अगर आप अपनी लाइफ की रेंज किसी और को दे देंगे तो फिर वो उसको उनके तरीके से चलाएंगे. Today the
Mm-hmm.
marketeers, the influencers, or everyone who's talking on social media, everybody is trying to influence us in some
Mm-hmm.
way or the other. We are forgetting that influence के बाद choice भी आती है, the choice of accepting.
Yeah.
We've forgotten that. We just feel that जो कोई भी जो बोल रहा है उसे आंख बंद करके करना है. It's not like that. That is not faith. The faith has to be within us, and we have to know that we can make choices. सब चीजें करने की जरूरत नहीं, कोई नहीं कर सकता. हमें बनाया ही नहीं गया उस तरीके से.
Mm-hmm.
We are not meant to do many things together. We are meant to do one thing at a time and to our heart's content.
Mm-hmm. And still, I feel कि we are meant to do one thing at a time, but we are trying to do a lot of things. और हम करते भी हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन आई थिंक उसका रिजल्ट नहीं आता है. और मे बी एक बार आ जाएगा, 2 बार आ जाएगा, बार-बार आपको शायद वो सक्सेस नहीं मिलेगी उस चीज़ को
Hmm.
करने में, राइट?
Yeah,
तो फिर
absolutely.
ये कर ही क्यों रहे हैं? हमने अपनी रील्स दूसरे के हाथ में क्यों दे दी है? डू यू थिंक कि मार्केटिंग दीज़ डेज़ इज़ वेरी गुड और समथिंग एल्स इज़ देयर?
No, because we don't like accountability. Accountability is a lot of responsibility.
हुँ, हुँ,
Okay, if I tell myself that all the things that have gone wrong in my life, I take accountability of that, that means I have no one else to blame, right? मैं किसी और
हुँ,
पे ब्लेम डाल ही नहीं सकती हूँ. और जब किसी
हुँ,
और पे ब्लेम नहीं डाल दूंगी तो ब्लेम मेरा होता है उतना ही. सक्सेस हमें हमारे ऊपर लेना है. सक्सेस का श्रेय हम बोलते हैं मुझे जाता है, और maybe a couple of more people around me, but primarily to me.
हुँ,
But yeah, if I failed, then my boss is not good, my economy is not good, my social circle is not good, my friends are not supportive. All of these things will happen. The reason why we don't want to take the reins of our hands is very simple. It's because when you say that this is my life, my rules, I decide, I go and I make choices for myself, that means you're right and you're wrong. Both is going to be yours. And you have to take full accountability of that. And that is scary for people. People don't want. What do we do when something goes wrong? We just blame it on someone, right?
हाँ, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स, बट
Yeah.
मेरे केस में अलग है. आई ब्लेम माय सेल्फ फॉर एवरीथिंग.
Yeah, and again, it's not blaming. It's just saying that I am human, I can make a mistake, but I can also learn from that and move forward pretty quickly, because these mistakes are not going to define me at all,
हुँ,
right? But yeah, if I keep repeating them and I just say, oh my God, I am such a fool, I always do this, that means you are labeling yourself as someone who is clumsy, always wrong, always making mistakes, and that is negative self talk.
हुँ,
Right? So what do you do when you make a mistake? You say, okay, fine, I made this mistake. I'm human. What did I learn from it? These 5 things. Am I going to repeat it? Not knowingly for sure. I'm going to be aware. But in case there's another chance, maybe I learned something more, but I know I'm more conscious and aware. And then I move forward, right?
हुँ,
Because what is the idea? At the end of the day, you want to move forward and you want to grow. So it's a very thin and delicate balance. It's just because, and that's why people don't want to take responsibility, even when it comes to workspaces and life and all that. Because हमें ऐसा लगता है responsibility के साथ blame आता है. Blame नहीं आता है. Responsibility के साथ responsibility आती है to learn from your mistake, to evolve from that mistake, and to say that I can do better. Why not? And I'm human at the end of the day, and that's okay if I made a mistake. It's fine.
हुँ.
I'm only up to it, and that's okay, and I move forward. So yeah, I think the reason why we don't want to make the choice is because we don't want to give off the ability to blame others, and or sometimes blame ourselves too much.
सो हमारे ब्रेन में जंक हो गया है और बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो थी हमने उससे रिलेटेड डिस्कस भी कर ली. बट नाउ
Hmm.
बिफोर वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ टू declutter our minds, आई वांट
Hmm.
टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड आई एम श्योर माय लिसनर्स वुड आल्सो लाइक टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो हम कर रहे हैं हमारा काम तो चल ही रहा
Hmm.
है ना? हम अपने डे टू डे टास्क भी कर पा रहे हैं, मे बी हैप्पी नहीं है इतने जो कि आपने पहले बोला भी. पर
Hmm.
हमारा काम चल रहा है, वी आर मेकिंग इट. ठीक है, तो फिर फायदा क्या है इफ वी आर decluttering आवर माइंड, decluttering आवर टाइम? तो उसका ऐसा क्या पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट है जिसके लिए हम इस डायरेक्शन में वर्क भी करें?
Hmm. So multiple, in fact. First of all, तो ये choice है. Again, we come back to choices, right? अगर आपको लग रहा है आपका काम ठीक ठाक चल रहा है and this is the kind of life that you want, then you are free to make this choice for yourself. Nobody is going to come and tell you anything, right? But if you feel that there is a better life that you can lead, and when I say a better life, a life which is more abundant, a life which is more fulfilling, a life in which you're able to prioritize yourself and things that are important to you, a life in which you don't regret it later when you think that the most of the years of your life have gone by. First of all, I don't think it's ever late to do this. It's always the best time is, and the best time is now, right? But if you want all of these, and if you're someone who's feeling that there's more for you, but for some reason you're stuck in that loop, then you must do this. And if you ask me, I encourage everyone to do this. We can always be better. We are all great where we are. We are amazing people. We are, we deserve the best. But we are also work in progress, which doesn't make us any less worthy, right? The thing is that it gives you a huge sense of worth when you step up for yourself,
Yeah.
and it feels like nobody can do this for you. Nobody. How much ever people might show up for you, do things for you, but if you have not stepped up for yourself, you're not going to feel this. And you feel this because you suddenly become more present, that you feel that, I don't need those big things to feel joy. I can really feel joy in the smallest of the things in my day to day life. Your sleep gets better, your depth of relationships get better, your depth of knowing yourself gets better, you're able to take care of yourself better, you're able to make better choices for yourself, and you understand that the box and the ceiling, glass ceiling, and the box in which we believe we are all put in are all in our head. You know how amazing it is to feel that whatever I set my heart to, I can move, try it out. I can give it my best shot. That every day I'm showing up as my best version. That every day I'm growing, I'm evolving. This is unbeatable. So all the highs that we seek in our life with many other things like alcohol and substance and those dopamine hits on our phones, none of that is going to matter because you're going to be in that constant state of, yes, I got to do something. Like, I'm excited about life. That'll be fine. Let's see what tomorrow brings. And imagine waking up like that on most days. I'm not saying every day. Some days you'll still have low days because you're human. But on most days, you're going to wake up like this. And that's the biggest high that you can have in life.
नाउ आई थिंक एवरीवन वुड लाइक टू गेट दैट फीलिंग। तो शिखा, हमें ये बताइए कि हाउ डू वी गेट अनस्टक इस भागती हुई रेस से? मतलब इस रेस में भागने से हम कैसे अपने आप को रोक पाए, कैसे स्लो डाउन हो पाए?
Hmm. So, Maitri, there's this one thing of slowing down. It's always seen as a negative, right? हमेशा ये देखा जाता है कि जो लोग स्लो डाउन कर जाते हैं वो ड्रिवन नहीं होते, दे आर नॉट, हसल करना बहुत ज़रूरी है।
या एंड एक चीज मैं यहाँ पे ऐड ये भी करूंगी कि बहुत सारे लोग हमसे सोशल मीडिया पे कह रहे हैं वी शुड स्लो डाउन, पर वो खुद भी स्लो डाउन मोड में नहीं होते हैं। मतलब ये बोलते हैं ना, जो ज्ञान ज्ञान हर कोई दे रहा है,
या
बट नो, नॉट मैनी पीपल आर डूइंग इट फॉर रियल।
हम्म
दैट्स व्हाई आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ज्ञान देने की जगह हम एक्चुअली में क्या करें।
यस। सो पहली बात तो ये है कि हम ये जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम रेस किसकी है। क्या ये हमारी रेस है या ये किसी और की रेस है? हुँ, हमने हम किससे compete कर रहे हैं? Are you competing with someone else and comparing yourselves, or are you just competing with becoming a better version of yourself every single day? Okay, and then what is that better version? What do you really want to be? I'm not saying that I want to earn so much and I want to have a house. I just want people to know, what kind of a person do you want to be? How do you see yourself? What is the best day of your life look like? This is the work that I really do with a lot of people. How do you visualize the best day in your life? And most of the people are not able to do this because we have never thought about this, right? So if you don't know what the best day looks like, then what are you really chasing?
या
Right? So most of us don't know कि हमको जाना कहाँ है। हमें पता है कि हमें भागना है, right? So we are just running. We don't know where the destination is. Now the प्रॉब्लम इज दैट अब आती है बात पर्पस की, जो सारे कोचेस आपको डेफिनेटली बोलेंगे फाइंड योर पर्पस, लिव योर पर्पस एंड ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग. व्हाट इज पर्पस? Is it like a big statement that I am going to change the world? No, it's not like that. Your purpose is what you do that brings you joy and creates a ripple effect in and around you. As simple as that. Sometimes it grows to the level of becoming something that changes the world. Sometimes it is something that changes the lives of people around you. But every single time, it is going to show up in the way your relationships and people around you feel when they are around you. And that is something that the purpose is very, very simple. It is something that drives you, which also has an impact on those around you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is what the purpose is, and the purpose can be different for different people. It's not life changing. A lot of time people don't want to do purpose because they think that हजारों लोगों की life change हो जानी चाहिए मेरे purpose से. ऐसा नहीं होता है. पहले एक कर लें वो भी बहुत है. That's more than enough. If we are able to change one life in our lifetime, that's more than enough. So look at it like that. So that's important to know. What are you really chasing, and whose race are you in? Second, most important thing, can you trust that you're not supposed to be doing everything? If you go to my timeline on most of my social media and other places, my podcast, there are a whole gamut of techniques and practices that I talk about. Do I want you to do all of them? Definitely no. I'm telling you, don't do all of them, but pick up one or two and do them consistently, diligently, with complete faith, and do it over and over again, consistently. That's what is required. If you are able to even do one thing consistently for yourself, that's a beautiful place to start because you begin to show up. We feel so cluttered is because we have no faith in ourselves. I ask this to people a lot of time. Do you trust yourself with yourself that you will make the decisions that serve you, or will you make the decisions that drive you to doing things that others are doing? Do you
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself that you will be able to take a pause when you're feeling burned out? Or do you think that you will keep pushing yourself till you're burnt out and your body gives up? Very
Mm-hmm.
simple things, but we're not ready to do it. And this clutters our mind because our mind is in fright and flight. It's saying that मेरा तो ये ध्यान ही नहीं रखने वाली है तो फिर मैं तो मतलब क्या कैसे how will I function? How will I be optimized? And that's again very important thing to build that trust. Second
Mm-hmm.
is to really know this is the amount of energy I have in a day. This is the amount of time that I have in a day. I cannot do everything. So what am I going to do today? Set your intentions right at the beginning of your day. Take a pen and paper, write down what is it that you want to do today, and what are the things that you're showing up for today, and how are you showing up for that. If I say, for example, today at the beginning of the day, my intention was that I'm going to be authentic in my interactions today,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, whatever you might ask me, just because we're in this podcast and I'm giving the example of this, whatever that you might ask me, I know I have to be authentic, which means that, which is such a freedom in my mind. I don't have to be anybody else, right? I just have to show up as myself. And then that means that if I don't know something, I can tell you, Mithri, I don't know that today. Or maybe I need to figure this out myself. And there is a freedom in that. That means I've taken the power away from you or anybody outside of me to dictate how I am, what is going to be the content like. The content and the interaction is going to be something which is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So these are really some of the things that we have to kind of understand and incorporate. And most importantly, our mind is not our enemy, it is our biggest asset, and we can control our mind. If anybody tells you you cannot control your mind, don't listen to them. It's not how it works.
ओके। अब शिखा, जैसे आपने हमें कुछ आइडियाज़ दिए कि हाँ, इस तरीके से आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हो। बट एक चीज़ और आती है कि हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीज़ें करने के लिए होती हैं। तो
Hmm.
ये इंटेंशनल होने का टाइम हम कहाँ से लाएँ? लाइक वी हैव एनर्जी टू डू सम थिंग्स इन वन डे,
Hmm.
जैसे आपने भी
Hmm.
बोला।
Hmm.
फिर उसके बाद क्या होता है कि हमें लगता है कि यार अब ये जो मेन काम था ये हो गया, अब
Hmm.
कुछ और नहीं करना चाहती मैं। या
Hmm.
फिर होता है ना कि चलो अब मैं टायर्ड हो गई हूँ, जब सारा काम कर लिया अपना, अगर
Hmm.
प्रोफेशनल साइड पे देखें या फिर घर
Hmm.
की साइड पे देखें, वो सब फिनिश कर लिया, नाउ वी आर लाइक
Hmm.
नाउ आई एम ट्रेन्ड, आई एम
Hmm.
डन विद द डे, अब मुझे और कुछ नहीं करना है। तो ये जो थिंकिंग क्लियरली वाला टाइम है,
Hmm.
ये हम कहाँ से अपने दिन में ऐड करें, बिकॉज वी हैव सो मच टू डू, और आई थिंक एवरीवन इज लिविंग इन टाइम पॉवर्टी.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we've created this poverty for ourselves because we want to do too many things. So the hack is very simple. 5 minutes when you wake up. 5 minutes before you check your social media, before you get on speaking to someone else, doing anything else, just 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes, have a pen and paper, or use your mobile. I would still encourage pen and paper, or really affirming it to yourself. 5 minutes, write it down. This is how I'm going to show up today, whatever your intention is. And this is my to do list, right? That's it. First intention, and then your things to do based on that intention, and write it. Some days it's going to be maybe you only want to do three things, fine, but at least you're doing them intentionally. Some days there are going to be 10 things, but you will have an intention driving, maybe saying that just focus, and then you're able to identify which are the important things. And you know that, okay, maybe I didn't do three things, but whatever I did, I showed up with my intention. Don't think of everything as half an hour, 1 hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just 5 minutes when you wake up. But the catch is that you have to do it before you check your social media. And I'll give you the reason, scientific reason for this is that when we wake up, are we still able to access our subconscious mind, right? We still have some access, which means that whatever we do at that point of time really gets ingrained into our mind better, and we are able to lead with that better. It's like rebooting ourselves with that intention in the morning. And just that, keep it somewhere which is close by. If you feel overwhelmed during the day with too many things, come back to your intention just once, just read through it or reaffirm it in your mind. And one of the best things that I like to do when it's a very busy day and I know I'm getting caught up and I feel that I'm getting caught up is I look at my intention and then I just take a deep breath through my nose and then close my eyes and then breathe out through the mouth. And I say here and now. That's it. It's like a reset. And you do it 3 times. 3 times you could breathe in and breathe out through the mouth. Long exhale, like, and then just say here and now. That's it. And then you open your eyes and just get back to doing what you're doing. It's like, you're telling your mind, I know, boss, you've gone into thinking. But I know, boss, that I can also bring you down because I'm the boss. I decide, come back and let's be here and let's be now, here now. And that's what you do. It's not easy, but it's not
Yes.
something that just cannot be done.
यस. ओके. तो आपने बोला कि अपने दिन का एक इंटेंशन सेट करना चाहिए, और
Hmm.
ये मैंने कहीं पढ़ा भी था कि हर दिन एक इंटेंशन के साथ अपना शुरू करो. पर
Hmm.
मुझे कभी समझ में नहीं आता कि मैं क्या इंटेंशन सेट करूँ?
Hmm.
कैसे फिगर आउट करूँ कि आज क्या करना है? मतलब आई हैव दिस लिस्ट कि मुझे
Hmm.
ये काम करना है, सुबह उठना है, अपनी बच्ची को स्कूल भेजना है, फिर योगा क्लास जाना है, फिर
Hmm.
नहा धो के काम करने बैठ जाना है, फिर खाना
Hmm.
बनाना है, खाना खाना है, फिर बच्ची को लेके आना है, फिर शाम को उसको पार्क में ले जाना है, और फिर उसके बाद शाम को थोड़ा बहुत कुछ बचा हुआ काम अगर मेरा है प्रोफ़ेशनल तो उसको फिनिश करना है, डिनर खा के सो जाना है, खत्म
Hmm.
हो गया दिन। तो
Hmm.
इसमें इंटेंशन कहाँ आता है? आई मीन जैसे आपने बोला कि ऑथेंटिक होने का इंटेंशन है, तो हाउ डू आई फिट इट इन? और
Hmm.
मे बी ये इंटेंशन मेरे डे से रिलेटेड नहीं है।
Hmm. No, I think for you, what you spoke about earlier as well, Metri, is you're saying that when you're doing different things, you want to be doing different things as well. So you want to do multiple things together. So presence could be a beautiful intention for you. Today, whatever I show up for, I will show up with presence. So you say that even if I'm just taking my daughter to my school, I will be fully present for her and myself and for the bond that we have. That means having a conversation. That means not checking your phone, keeping it on silent, or just keeping it in your pocket or your purse, not looking at it. And just holding her hand, feeling the sense of her hand in your hand, feeling the touch of your daughter, or when you bid her goodbye, just that hug, just being fully embodied in that moment. That is your moment of joy. That's a beautiful intention. Then you come back into your work and you say that I'm fully present to all the conversations that I'm having. Can I be here? I'm fully present to my work. That means that your 100% is there, which means that something that takes you And this is not an exaggeration, but this is like a practical thing that I have felt since I started on this journey. What probably took me like 3 hours to do today, it takes about 45 minutes if you're just able to show up with presence,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not thinking about anything else. Your mind is fully focused on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and and then you say that even when I'm looking at social media, can I be present to what am I consuming,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, fine, you scroll, everybody scrolls, that's what the social media is meant for. But can I be so clear in my intention and present that, oh, this doesn't align with me, so there are those three dots at the top, and say that I'm not interested, so that it doesn't show and spoil my timeline. I think timelines should be sacred nowadays, because there's so much that they
Yeah.
influence, that choose that and say not interested, because you don't want to see it. So this is how then presence can reflect in everything. At the end of the day, can you have the deep presence that I need rest, this rest is sacred for me, because this is what is going to allow me to show up better the next day. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just is how intention kind of seeps into everything.
Okay, so first of all, Shika, thank you for this idea कि हाँ this could be one of my intentions. uh, और क्या intentions हो सकते हैं दिन के लिए?
Hmm.
जैसे तो presence हो गया या authentic होना हो गया,
Yeah.
और क्या हो सकता है? Because when I sit in the morning ना मुझे समझ ही नहीं
Hmm.
आता है कि आज मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ. तो maybe if I or maybe my listeners also have 5-6
Hmm.
ideas कि हाँ ये इसमें से हम maybe कुछ choose कर सकते हैं. ऐसा कुछ होता
Yeah.
है क्या?
Yeah, absolutely. Things like, uh, today I will not doubt myself. I choose to not doubt myself. Self
हम्म.
doubt is such a huge part of our lives, right?
हम्म.
Today I choose to think before I speak anything. Today I will allow myself to feel deeply. कोई भी emotion आएगा, I'm not going to deny it.
हम्म.
I'm going to feel sad, I will feel sad. I want to cry, I will cry. As simple as that. You give yourself so much of freedom. Today, I will say no to something that doesn't align with me.
हम्म.
If you're someone who ends up saying yes to everything, it's a beautiful intention to have at the beginning of the day. Um, Today, I will take care of myself. Today, I
हम्म.
will be connected to my body. That I will listen, that my back is hurting, but I'm still sitting, I'm not stretching. Then, we get a lot of cues from our body.
हम्म.
Today, I will prioritize rest. There are so many intentions that we can have. And then you begin to kind of pay attention to what do you need, and you start offering yourself that. That's the journey of intention. That
हम्म.
it starts with, okay, I want to do this, I want to build presence, I want to build focus. Over a period of time, you will begin to listen. And then the morning intention is actually a beautiful practice where you choose to what are you going to offer to yourself and your day as the day progresses.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wow. So thank you for so many ideas, Shikha. And because you are a decluttering specialist,
Mhm.
we want to
I
know कि,
try.
कि आपकी फेवरेट तरीके क्या हैं अपने ब्रेन को डिक्लटर करने के? मे बी समथिंग विच यू ऑल्सो यूज एंड सजेस्ट योर क्लाइंट्स.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm someone who really believes that anything that I suggest to anyone is something that I have practiced myself at some point of time over days, or is a part of my continuous practice. So, this intention that I spoke about is a part of my daily practice. I set intentions every day. I've done that for years now, and it's so I've naturally been a person who's always liked control. Okay. And the fact about people who are like me is the fact that there's very little that you can control externally, but you can control everything inside of you. You can control everything that comes from within outside. So, hence, intention setting is one of the practices that I've done for years together. It gives me a huge sense of control. Also, I'm big fan of meditation, because it just teaches you so much about, again, mental toughness. That ability to sit without judgment is crucial. I'm not someone who tells you to sit for 30 minutes, but I do recommend sitting for 10 minutes in a day, either any time during the day, preferably at the same time, because then you just get in the rhythm. It's easier to do. But also, just before going to bed is not a bad thing. Also, I always take 2 to 5 minutes before any interaction that I have, whether it's my coaching sessions or whether it's something like what we're doing right now or whether it's a meeting. I just take 2 minutes and I just, again, go back to what am I really seeking out of this?
Mm-hmm.
This interaction, what am I seeking out of this? It adds a whole lot of meaning to what we do, right? Because this, I'm showing up for this because of this, right? For example, before the podcast, my intention was that I will try to offer my best so that whoever is listening gets something and takes something with them,
Mm-hmm.
you know and that's something that you want to be present for, so that's a great thing. I also really recommend deep breathing, so breathing through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Like I said, it's a great way of just calming your mind down, because your breath and your body is always in the present moment. So these two things I would really recommend whenever you're feeling that, oh, there's too much happening, things are taking up my time, I don't know what's going on, time is flying. Just take a deep breath, stay there for a moment, and then exhale through your mouth, and it just feels so awesome. It's like you're oxygenating all of you. So these are some of the things that I do again before sleeping. I prioritize sleep and I prioritize rest. I take a 20 minutes nap every single day. I In the afternoon, and I have my 7 hours of sleep every night, ensuring that you know I've done a lot of podcasts on sleep as well, because I think it's extremely important. I
Mm-hmm.
prioritize it. I prioritize my rest, and guilt free.
हम्म। ओके। तो आपने हमें बताई ऐसी चीज़ें जो हमें करनी चाहिए, जो आप भी फॉलो
Hmm.
करती हैं,
Hmm.
और ऐसी मे बी कोई एक चीज़ जो हमें कभी नहीं करनी चाहिए एंड यू वुड ऑल्सो नेवर डू इट।
Hmm. There's so many things actually. But yeah, I think one thing that you should not do is to be unkind to yourself. And I have learned it the hard way. Uh, I've been someone who's been very, very unkind, very harsh to myself, and always wanting to be. I was a school topper and a college topper, and always winning competitions and things like that. And I didn't realize that I was putting myself to things that I didn't need to. I could have been a little more relaxed and maybe experienced life a little better in those times. So yeah, I think it's that's one thing, and that just then it'll reflect. It has like this beautiful ripple effect which reflects in so many things. It's okay to make mistakes, and I just want everybody to know that it's absolutely okay to make mistakes. Your mistakes do not define you until you allow them to define you. If you're going to say, I'm always doing this to myself and I'm always like this, no, there's no always. You can change.
Yeah, but there is so much shame associated with mistakes, especially when we do it in public. कि
Yeah.
और कई बार मिस्टेक भी नहीं होती, बट कोई ऐसी चीज़ होती है जो हम कर रहे होते हैं एंड इट फेल्स, और
Hmm.
फिर हम अपने आप को कितना ब्लेम करते हैं। यू एंड
Hmm.
यू आर सेइंग बीइंग काइंड टू योरसेल्फ, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी। तो
Right.
नाउ आई एम लिसनिंग टू यू, आई एम लाइक, हाँ, मतलब कहना आसान है, करना बहुत मुश्किल है। हाउ डू वी
Yeah.
इवन गेट देयर, हाउ डू वी स्टार्ट इवन डूइंग दैट?
See, one thing I have always reminded myself is that हम किसी के बारे में कितने दिन बात करते हैं, अगर किसी ने कुछ कर भी दिया, कि मुश्किल से max would be about a month, right? That we would talk about someone and then we'll forget because we'll get something new. How much do we beat ourselves over a mistake? Years. Okay.
True.
So सामने वाला भूल चुका है, whatever mistake that you made. Okay. We have lingered onto it for years together, and we have taken away our own places of trying something new because we're so scared of making a mistake,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing like and today's times are the best because nobody has the time in their mind only, right? We were discussing that, right? To think about someone else. Well, अपनी perception management में लगे हुए हैं. Everybody wants their own social media to look a certain way. Everybody wants their things to be a certain way and all of that. Time ही नहीं है किसी के पास to think about. So this is the best time to make mistakes. I'm telling you. We're living in the best era to make mistakes and get over with them as soon as we want to. Nobody has the time to think about us. And we have to really think about this, Maitri, and I'll tell this to you because you said that, you find it challenging to get over your mistake. If you make a mistake and it's bothering you, just sit with a pen and paper and write down, what did I learn from that mistake?
Mm.
A mistake will keep bothering you if you feel there was just a mistake. Make it a learning experience. Okay. You didn't show up for something, right? And okay, fine. I could have done better. I could have done this better. Next time. I learned. And just move from there and try this. This is really empowering. It is so empowering, and you can do this before you go to bed. again, another time when you're really able to access your subconscious mind because you start getting into that sleep mode. Keep a pen and paper there and just write down. If something's bothering you, just write it down. Say that what did I learn from it? Then it's not a mistake anymore that you learned something
Mm-hmm.
and you have taken time to understand and maybe not do this again. You're giving yourself a chance.
या आई थिंक ये जो लर्निंग फ्रॉम ए मिस्टेक्स है ये बोला जाता है बट इसको इंटेंशन से करना इम्पोर्टेंट है
Yeah, it's
क्योंकि
important.
हम
Because
आगे
then it's
बढ़
just
सकते हैं.
done. No?
हाँ, दैट्स व्हाट कि हो गया उसके बाद हम अपने आप को मेंटली किक करते रहेंगे बट हमें पता है लर्न फ्रॉम ए मिस्टेक्स बट हम उस जोन में चले जाते हैं कि वी डोंट वांट टू लर्न वी आर लाइक कि ये इससे क्या सीखा ये तो सबसे बड़ी मिस्टेक कर दी अपनी लाइफ की मैंने फिर उसके
Exactly.
बाद एक और मिस्टेक आ जाती है फिर उससे भी कुछ नहीं सीखा.
Yeah, but हम सीख ही नहीं रहे ना because we're not giving ourselves the time.
या
अब बड़ी स्पेसिफिकली तुम बैठ के अपने माइंड को बोलो भैया तूने ये सीख लिया इससे अब चलें
हाँ.
आगे तो चलो फिर सीख लिया ना सो देन हो गया काम लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड इट्स लाइक दैट you have to treat your mind like a child and that is what it is. It's like a little child which is there, which is very naughty. It wants to run, it wants to touch everything, feel everything, experience things and just want to be all over there, very excited. Switchboard देख लिया बच्चा जैसे switchboard देख लिया तो excited हो जाता है, pencil देख ली तो excited हो जाता है, वैसा है हमारा mind. हर चीज देख लेता है excited हो जाता है. You have to gently bring it back. Come baby, come back, let's do this. This is where we are. And when you start having that conversation with your mind, it is beautiful because it really is like a baby, which means that you can also mold it, just like you can do to a child with your guidance, your parenting. It is work, but it is a work that reflects in everything. And you start feel that, you asked me at the beginning, why should someone change? Because when you change your mindset, your world changes. Because your worldview isn't outside to in, it's inside from out.
या.
Nothing in nature ever grows from outside to in. Nothing. Everything grows from within to outside, including us and our views and our world vision and our experiences. They're all from inside to out. If you change the game inside, everything is going to change.
Yeah, and I think this was my favorite part of the entire interview. I relate so much to it. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. And Shikha, now it's the time for Sass It Up.
Mhm.
Jisme I would like to know what's one of the sassiest things that you have done and maybe it
Mm.
changed your life, it changed your thinking in some way.
So it's a mindset that I very consciously cultivated.
Hmm.
Okay, in my head, and now this might sound really very someone who's is like oversure about herself, but I really don't believe that there's anything that I cannot do. Okay, now when it comes to that, it just makes you feel extremely in control and in power, right?
Mm.
But I also then the reason of things that I don't want to do is that I'm making a choice to not do them. And I call it very sassy because it starts reflecting in a lot of things that you do. You
Mm.
show up kind of differently towards a lot of stuff. You show up with saying that, fine, if it's not meant for me, that's okay. I will make that choice. I will not make this choice because someone is telling me, or I'm living in a place that says that you cannot do this and you cannot do that. I will make that choice. Do I really want to do it or do I really not want to do it? And even if I'm not good at it, I will, if I find joy, then I'm going to get better at it because there's joy,
Mm. Yeah.
right? And so that's really is, I think, one of the sassiest mindset that I've cultivated. There's nothing that I cannot do, but I will
Mm.
choose what I can't or
Wow.
don't want to.
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग आई थिंक लिटरली ये हमारे माइंड को बताना हो गया कि जो भी मैं कर रही हूँ सब कुछ मेरी ही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जैसे जब भी मेट में था ना गीत ने
Yeah.
बोला था कि
Hmm.
कोई किसी और को ब्लेम नहीं करना है
Think of that.
चाहे मैंने वो
Exactly.
चीज़ चूज की या नहीं की वो
Hmm.
खराब की अपनी लाइफ तो मैंने खुद की अच्छी की तो भी खुद ही की.
Exactly. And we see that how popular that particular character has been. Why?
या.
Because it relates to everyone.
हम्म.
I know Karina did a fab job in doing it, and it's just amazingly written and the dialogues. But why? Because it relates to each one of us. We all want to be Geet,
हम्म.
right? And there is a Geet in each one of us.
हम्म.
It's just that we've become a little caught up in our daily lives. There is space. There is space for each one of us. And it doesn't take much, yeah. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's all. Small changes go a big way, big way.
Yes, definitely. And Shikha, now before I let you go, please let us know all about the work you do and how can people connect with you.
Absolutely. So I'm a mindfulness mindset coach. I believe that people can change their mindset. And the reason why I do what I do is I truly believe each one of us is limitless. And each one of us has an opportunity and the power and the courage and the strength to change our lives. And I believe in that so much is because if I can do it, anybody can. And it's really is as simple as that for me. That's really is my purpose, to enable people to see their limitless potential, and all of that through mindfulness, because mindfulness is foundational. It brings in awareness. If you're not aware, you cannot change, and to be aware, you need to be mindful. So it kind of boils down to that, and giving you practices and techniques which are very, very practical, that you can incorporate in your life, in your modern life. I've never asked anyone to go to the Himalayas, so that is one thing I've never done. I don't intend to do that, sit there and practice mindfulness. No, it happens here, right here in this world. And through that, really creating a mindset which is takes you towards being mentally tough to handle the world that we live in and be able to make your choices, build in resilience so that you're able to bounce back more effectively from your mistakes, learn from them, and get back on with life. And most importantly, really truly believe in yourself, trust yourself more than you trust anybody else. And that's really what I do. I'm available. I'm present on all the social media handles. I'm on Instagram as shikhapande.coach. I'm also on LinkedIn at Shikha Pandey. I have a website which is shikhapande.com, and people can reach out to me through there. And yeah, I love talking to people. I love getting to know their stories, and nothing amazes me more than the human potential. I'm always in awe of it, always.
I think from now onwards, I'll also be because I really enjoyed talking to you, and you explained everything in so much detail, and still it was very easy to understand and easy to implement. But I also hope that whoever is listening to this episode, भले ही 10 लोग सुने, but जो भी सुने उसको लगे कि हाँ कुछ तो नया सीखा, इसको मैं अपनी लाइफ में यूज कर सकती हूँ.
That's all that my intention is. Even if one person gains something out of this today, I think our work here is done. One life is big enough, worthy enough to be changed.
अगर आपको ये एपिसोड वैल्यूबल लगा तो प्लीज हेल्प लिटिल फिक्सेस रीच मोर पीपल बाय शेयरिंग इट विद समवन यू केयर अबाउट. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव अस अ शाउट आउट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. मेरा हैंडल है @littlepodcast. दिस हेल्प्स मी इन ग्रोइंग द पॉडकास्ट और बहुत सारे और लोगों की हेल्प भी होती है इसको सुन के. आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वेडनेसडे को. तब तक के लिए खुद से प्यार करते रहो और सदा सैसी रहो. बाय. When I started this podcast in 2019, I didn't know much about the tools available and struggled with poor audio quality, blurry videos, and even losing the recording. Now I have switched to Zencastr. Zencastr not only gives me high quality audio and video podcast production, but also keeps the recording safe with its multi-layer backups even when the internet is unstable. It has a post-production feature which automatically removes sounds like and also reduces background noise with a click of a button. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code LFP and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Zencastr is free to try and their hobbies plan is always free.